Hi everyone, I'm Shalise with Sodbuster Living, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my homeschool favorites for the month of October. Alright, so I love doing this with Abby from Full-Time Wife Life. Her channel will be linked down below. I do this every month, and let me just quickly kind of introduce myself because I've had so many new subscribers, and let me just kind of briefly kind of introduce who I am and what I do with this channel. I am a mom of 5 children. I homeschool all 5 of them, as well as 2 other family or friend, and a lot of this channel is my life. So right now it's the homeschooling part of my life. I love to read, so you get to do a lot of the books. I'm learning to be more frugal and thrifty in a new way, and that video will be coming out shortly. I kind of started this with kind of a planner mindset, kind of a home making mindset, and just over the years it's what I call Sodbuster Living. It's my everyday life. I like to call myself a homesteader because I do not think of homesteading in such as a farming agricultural way, but as much of a self-sufficient as I possibly and humanly can. So that is kind of the purpose in this channel, is just to kind of share those things with you. I don't come to you as an expert, but I do come to you as just sharing what I do know, and you can take it and apply it in any way that you want, even if it's just to say, oh, she's going to wake up one day and smell the roses on that. Alright, so I also wanted to mention that on Instagram I do post a lot of my favorites or day-to-day life, in the sense that you'll see a picture maybe of the books we're currently reading and how much I really enjoy that, or times in our homeschool. It's really hard to do day-in-the-life vlogs, and I'm not really going to be doing a whole lot of that like I really did to begin with. What was it? Oh, Facebook, I kind of post my blog posts and some things that I've recommended or ebooks that I have found for free, and you can go check that out there. And then YouTube, of course, is just for making videos and sharing a little bit of me, kind of in a more personal face-to-face manner. I've tried many times to be that fun mom in our homeschool journey, but I'm more of the mom that says, here's a book and go and create your own adventure. So last month I did have a little bit of a fun video, but I think I'm going to end up just keeping these videos with our either library finds or book finds that we have really been enjoying in our homeschool the past month. It's just what it ends up being. What can I say? There you go. Alright, and I am going to start with this book. It's called On Duck Pond by Jane Yolen. Now, my favorite one that I did is kind of a similar feel, and that was just called Pond, I believe, and I don't remember the author. I don't remember the illustrator. It was just one that I randomly picked up at the library one day and found it so beautiful, and the story just gorgeous. And it was kind of a lot of books like these, little children's books or the little picture stories. The children are just very young, and this one had a little bit of like my oldest daughter's kind of age range with the 10s and the 9s and 10s, 11s and 12s, and I really enjoy things like that. C.S. Lewis said that a good book is enjoyed by both young and old alike, and I really follow that principle in choosing good quality literature. But this one is definitely another one. I was trying to find more kind of weather books, in the sense of it's fall, it's my favorite season of the year, and I'm just trying to teach the concept of seasons to my children. And so this was a really good one that we definitely enjoyed. I don't have to return that today, so I am going to push that one a little bit more. Alright, I just released a movie about all things pumpkin, and in there I showed you my poetry tea time, and in there was this book. Now, this book isn't so much like a content book, a text book as in words, as much as it is an art book. So you have something like this, and this is why we ended up loving this. It just had these pages with an idea that expanded, and very hard to, I mean, just gorgeous fall colors and simple artwork. I mean, some of the wording is twaddlish for me, but the artwork I thought was just really gorgeous. Pick a pumpkin, orange and fat, razzle dazzle. Look at that. And so this, we definitely just really loved how the pages folded out and the artwork. I was really going for the artwork and the whimsicalness of it all, and my daughter really enjoyed that. Why not, right? Alright, so these next 3 books that I'm going to show you, I'm actually looking for them secondhand because I enjoyed them so much. Now, I think a couple of these are out of print because I got them secondhand. Or Amazon didn't have a buy new option, I should say. And the first one is Patties Pumpkin Patch. And what I love about this is it has its poetry form. The patch is busy when it's light. The patch is busy in the night. And then you have along the bottom the alphabet. So Q for quail, R for raccoon. And some of those can get very, I don't really know what to say, but this one just made it fit so well with the story. So here we go. We have the frost is gone, spring is here. Put the tractor into gear. Plow the fields of weeds and grass. It's pumpkin planting time at last. And then in the picture, or in the story, you have like pictures of the ants and the beetles. And then down here you'll say A ant, B beetle. And then, you know, the whole story just goes in that poetic form with little pieces of the story in the alphabet form. So the crow and the dragonfly, earthworm and the fly, and it all just flows and fits beautifully. And I'm really excited to have that one when it gets here. I think I was able to pick it up for like $4 in tax on Amazon because shipping is $3.99, and I think I did find one for a penny. Okay, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I did, instead of using it in its full form by Washington Irving, I did want a child's version of it because the illustrations would not make it so spooky and scary. It's not definitely a favorite of my husband. You know, we're not into the Halloween aspect of it all, but I did want them to kind of be exposed to the classic literature of that. And I thought this was done so well. It's not so dumbed down that you don't really get an idea of the fullness of the story. It still leaves a little bit of that mystery that The Legend of Sleepy Hollow had, but the illustrations just kind of made it a little bit more lighthearted. I am going to show you what we found to be the most creepy out of the whole story, and had nothing to do with the headless horse, okay? The creepiest thing we thought of this whole story was his vision of the beautiful girl. I mean, just that head, we were all like, ah! So that is what we found to be really scary. Let me try to find. So here is like when Ichabod runs into the headless horseman, and that's your scary picture. So again, this is one I really liked. I did pick it up on Amazon again, and I will like to kind of keep this maybe for more of a fall book to pull out. And then finally, I had this one. It's brand new to our library, and we were doing a B unit with the little ones, and so I picked it up. And the only thing I don't like about books like this is how big they are. And I like things that I can fit on a shelf, but the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking these would be great coffee table books because they're informative for me, but they're also good for children. And so that's how I'm going to start looking at books like this, because there's several that I enjoyed. There was a botany one that was just beautiful and gorgeously illustrated with full of information. But I really don't like large books, so I'm just going to start thinking of them as coffee table books. I guess that means I have to get a coffee table. But, I mean, look at this. That just gives you perfect opportunity, especially for our poetry tea time where we do a lot of the artwork in our tea time. So it would be fun to kind of put this with different poetry, maybe on like bees or honey or the flowers, and then maybe even listen to that classical piece, The Bumblebee, that we all definitely love. And so, I mean, and then down along here you have information. Sometimes they are labeled, okay, here we go. They are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they have more information down here. And again, I just really love this book. I think it's $20 right now on Amazon New, so it's a little bit out of my price range for one book at this time, but it's definitely going to be going on my wish list and something that I will be looking for in the stores. All right, one more library book is trying to find fun poetry books that are still whimsical for children. I do like to put more classical in with modern poetry, but I found this one at the library, and this is the Julie Andrews collection of poems, songs, and lullabies. And this one has a CD with it, but I didn't use it. I love Julie Andrews. She's one of my favorites. And there is a huge variety of poems. This one's Robert Louis Stevenson, The Cow, The Runaway by Robert Frost. There was even the lyrics of Oh, What a Beautiful Morning from Oklahoma. I mean, at that point, I was sold on this book. Oh, here we go. A Cockeyed Optimist, My Favorite Things. Those are Rodgers and Hammerstein. That's the one I want. That's who I'm looking for. Anyway, definitely check out your local library to see if you have this. Again, I'm going to link it down in the description box below, and I'm going to be keeping my eye out for this copy because I think that would be a great addition to our homeschool. All right, but last and not least are two books that I bought for our homeschool this year, not really knowing too much about them, but really hoping that I could make them work. And lo and behold, they are turning out to be some of my favorite resources that I've gotten this year. And the first one is Life in an we looked this up online, Anishinaabe camp. And this just is chock full of information in a living way. It's just wonderful. I was almost afraid it was going to be just information and not, again, in a living way. But you have people of the lakes, and they kind of go through the different tribes. They also talk about the oral tradition, prophecy, vision, wild rice, how they got to the Great Lakes, how this tribe ended up in North America, Canada area, the three fires, families, clans, and councils, and then they kind of explain, with hunting, you don't hunt your animal, moving with the seasons, and then I want to say we kind of did some artwork based on this one, but I'm not too if we did, I don't know where those papers ended up. But setting up camp, I thought this would be a very fun project. One of the things that I really wanted to do and never got around to doing it just wasn't feasible, was make our own paint. kind of like the Indian war paint they had. They would use vegetables and flowers and create their own paint, and we were just going to paint a scene or a teepee, paint our own scenes like that. It just didn't happen. I'm really bummed about that, but oh well. Making a wigwam I think would have been fun. And the thing is that this was a lot of information. I probably should have spread it out into 2 days. There's 30 pages, and I tried to do it all in one day, and then kind of go back over the information. But it was a lot. But the children retained a good amount. I was very impressed, and I even retained a good amount. Which at that point you're like, okay, if all of us are doing a good job in keeping the information on this, then it's definitely a valuable resource. It's more than some of the other ones that I've had. I think North American Indians, which is a popular book, especially I think with Sunlight and Bookshark, one or the other or both. I do have that book, but I feel like we got more out of Indians in this particular tribe. You do get the idea that different Indians live differently, but in this tribe you could kind of see just how much they relied on the land and seasons and hunting, and their day-to-day life is just full of survival and the things that they did to survive. And that, I think, is more valuable than all the different tribes that there are. I think. And then the other book that I got and I really, really liked is The Lost Colony of Roanoke by Jean Fritz. And you know, if you got a Jean Fritz book, you know it's good. But unlike Jean Fritz, a lot of her books kind of are more humor with information put into it. This one was almost the reverse, where there's great information, great living literature, or living education, but just a little bit of humor thrown in now and then that maybe kind of goes over the kid's head, but I was just like, oh, you nailed that one. You did a great job. And it was really well written. It's not just...
Did you hear him? He was like, Mama.
Yeah. It's not just about the colony that came here, but what led up to the colony arriving here. And then what was afterwards when John Smith came into the picture. And then not only that, how we were discovering it in recent years. And then the fraud that we had with that. And kind of putting your own ideas and what you think might have happened with the information that we do have that is accurate. But also what I really liked in this is that there is a little bit of a science lesson in here. A lot of the ships and the weather patterns, and you kind of get an idea of the nautical life of it as well. And I do like things like that. And I thought it would be really fun to kind of do an ocean weather pattern, not really unit study, but unit study with that. Anyway, so these are 2 books that I am so glad I bought them, even kind of just not really knowing too much about them, but just taking a leap of faith. And this is probably one of the best purchases I've made this year. So I will link those 2 down below. Alright, well, wait, I'm going to add one more thing to this, and it would be You Wouldn't Want to Live Without Bees. These You Wouldn't Want To books are just phenomenal, and the little ones really like information like this. So if you haven't done any of these books, I would really recommend you checking them out at the library. There's a lot of them, and I think it can get really expensive if you start trying to build a library with them. So one of the ways that I'm making it affordable is requesting them from the library. Our library does have a lot, but I can still request them from our county and get them sent to me, which is what I had to do with this one. Also with that is we did, I think I already returned it, but we did You Wouldn't Want to Sail with Sir Francis Drake, and we're going to kind of do You Wouldn't Want to Sail with the Spanish Armada to kind of understand a little bit more of what the colonists were heading into when they came to America and why Indian hostility was so large in our country. Anyway, so I would really recommend these series. I'm sure you've heard about them by now. They're kind of popular as the Who Is and Who Was story of that. But I'm going to wrap this video up. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more. And right about now, I'm going to put a couple of videos that you might enjoy. You might not, but I think you might. And go ahead and click those. It'll take you to the video where you can watch it and see more content from me. Yeah. Alright, sounds like I need to go. It is my daughter's birthday. I need to go figure out some kind of cake. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.
Oh, from me?